Ayaktan. هو ده ايه ده؟ م?
بيقول لك اعمل صح.
طب ليه؟
كفايه.
routines of everyday life 2 years ago seem very unusual to us today. At the time, the routine of the mundane life bored us. We could have never foreseen that one day we will miss that routine and wish for nothing more but to get back to it. December 31st, 2019, the world waits the turn of the new year and the beginning of a new one. Meanwhile, the unknown coronavirus was roaming freely across the borders. March 2020. Thousands of cases are reported all over the world.
It's not a joke. I don't know. What more?
The WHO declares the COVID-19 virus a pandemic.
China has identified the cause of its struggles to contain the virus.
This is a rapidly emerging situation.
First U.S. case has been detected.
The virus continued to spread exponentially.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Countries started counting cases, and death rates were rising. The situation spiraled out of control. Only then did the world take the pandemic seriously. Travel bans were issued. Airlines canceled flights, and most countries enforced the quarantine. Schools and places of worship were shut down, followed by imposing curfews and restricted social distancing mandates. The virus attacked viciously, and countries were forced to lock down completely. Healthcare professionals joined forces and attempted to treat those infected as field hospitals were set up. The world was going through very tough times. In June of the same year, the number of deaths surpassed 500,000 people. Fear quickly turned into terror. For most, it seemed like time is running out, and that we were quickly approaching the end of the world. Medical advice on how to fight the coronavirus was passed around. Doctors highlighted the importance of strengthening the immunity, focusing on mental and emotional health. They encourage people to have high spirits and to avoid sinking into despair and frustration. Some of the worst pandemics in history have doomed whole nations and brought them to their knees, killing millions. In the 14th century, the bubonic plague infected 50 million people. At the turn of the 19th century, the cholera killed 15 million people. And in the 20th century, the Spanish flu infected 500 million people, about a third of the world's population. At the end of 2020, the number of COVID cases surpassed 75 million. Undoubtedly, the price for the lockdown was shattering to the economy. We suffered from boredom and self-isolation, but it doesn't compare to the suffering of millions of underprivileged lives. As we fought the virus, some were engulfed into wars and political conflicts that they are innocent of. And others were impoverished as most businesses came to a halt. Yet there was a silver lining. The ozone layer has shown us signs of recovery, allowing Earth to breathe, improving the health of our planet. Nature finally took a much-needed break from the havoc we wreak. flattening the curve for a few months, some countries began to gradually open up again. With strict health measures of mandatory medical masks and social distancing. As new waves of the virus hit, nations swayed between complete lockdowns and opening back up. Life adjusted to a new normal, which was worrying and upsetting to us all. But it did help us overcome our initial fear and feeling of impending doom, while recognizing the gravity of the situation and the importance of adhering to the precautionary measures. The crisis is not yet over, but we have adapted ways of coping. We regained mental balance and realized the importance of communal support. Sports, arts, and hobbies helped lift our spirits. We learned that staying positive is important. We are grateful to the elderly for their wisdom and guidance, but also to the young for the optimism they spread. Through positive thinking, the world boosted its moral as well as its immunity. The youth reignited our lost love for life. The secret of survival may just lay in the delicate balance between the wisdom of the elderly, the liveliness of the young, and the smiles of our children. The youth are the driving force for change and development. Their positive outlook on life holds the secret to our happiness. They hold our equilibrium. Together, we can recover. With hope and awareness, we can regain our strength. Together, we thrive. Think positive. Test negative.
كأننا بندور في حلقة مفرغة، خلافات وصراعات وحروب وضحايا من كل جنس ولون، وبعدين يجي وباء يفكرنا إننا كلنا نفس الإنسان، يفكرنا إننا كلنا في خندق واحد، وبعد ما الوباء يخلص ونتغلب عليه نرجع تاني لنفس الخلافات والصراعات. قصة اتكررت كتير، من الطاعون اللي قضى على ملايين في العصور الوسطى، للكوليرا في القرن ال19، للإنفلونزا الإسبانية في القرن العشرين. وكل مرة بعد كل وباء محدش بيتعلم الدرس، وتاني بنرجع للحروب، الحروب اللي طاقتنا كلها بتضيع فيها، ودينا هم محطوطين في نفس الخندق في مواجهة كوفيد 19. لكن يا ترى هنتعلم من التجربة؟ ولا الوباء ده مجرد فاصل واحنا في انتظار صراع جديد وحرب جديدة؟
هو ده السؤال المهم. التاريخ بيقول إننا ما بنتعلمش، في المحنة بنتكالف، ولما بتعدي بننسى وبنرجع تاني لعاداتنا وحياتنا اليومية، للسباق والجري طول النهار. بنرجع ننشغل ونتوتر على أبسط الأسباب، ونحط وشنا في الشاشات طول اليوم.
مظبوط، بترجع الصراعات العرقية والخلافات الأيديولوجية، وبنرجع للهيمنة الاقتصادية والسياسية والفكرية في كل حاجة، حتى في العلاقات الإنسانية. وبترجع مصالح الكيانات الكبرى اللي بتتحكم في أدق تفاصيل حياتنا. التاريخ بيقول كده.
وبيقولوا إن التاريخ بيعيد نفسه، لكن الحقيقة إننا إحنا اللي بنعيد أخطاء. طب إزاي هنتغير وإحنا سنين طويلة بنلف في نفس الدايرة؟
That is right, young man. And that is why I always say insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results. But now look at you, all facing the same pandemic, all fighting the same battle, all sharing the same space-time, no matter where you come from. Now that is what I call relativity.
صح، لأن ده معناه إننا هنوصل لنفس النتائج. يعني التاريخ هيعيد نفسه.
اسمحي لي، الإنسان هو اللي بيكرر أخطاءه، لأن قراراته هي اللي بتصنع التاريخ.
يعني قراراتنا دلوقتي هتبقى تاريخ للي جايين بعدنا. حاضرنا هو تاريخنا، ومستقبلنا هو حاضرنا.
يبقى لازم نكسر الدايرة المغلقة ونغير طريقة تفكيرنا عشان نوصل لنتائج مختلفة. لازم نفكر بحكمة.
وهذا ما قلته من قبل. لقد تعلمت التفكير، ثم تعلمت التفكير داخل قوانين. بعدها تعلمت أن التفكير الصحيح هو التفكير من خلال تحطيم القوالب.
والبشر حابسين نفسهم في نفس قلب التفكير عشان بس يبرروا صراعاتهم. Life is an opportunity. Benefit from.
حلم أدركوها. الحياة
Life is a dream.
ثمينة، لا تهدروها.
Life is too precious. Do not نعيش مع بعض. ليه نحارب بعض لما ممكن نعيش مع بعض؟ Humans are fighting for their life against this disease. But let me tell you that one of the greatest diseases is to be nobody for anybody. الحرب كتير دمرت، عمرها ما عمرت، ما بتسيبش وراها غير الألم والدموع. احنا مش مجرد أرقام ضحايا في نشر الأخبار.
كتير سمعنا عن كوارث طبيعية دمرت بيوت وشردت أسر وسابت وراها خسائر كتير، حرائق الغابات مثلا.
لكن المرة دي الكارثة مش بس شفناها في الأخبار، احنا عشناها كلنا في نفس المركب، وعايشين نفس الخوف، بنواجه المجهول، مش عارفين نعمل ايه، ومفيش حد عنده الحل.
We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them.
يبقى لازم نبدأ بنفسنا ونغير تفكيرنا. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. But the ocean would be less because of that missing drop.
As you said once, there are things that I can do, you cannot do. And there are things you can do that I cannot do.
مع بعض نقدر نحقق كتير. نقدر نتعلم من الماضي ونغير الحاضر ونأسس للمستقبل. المهم يبقى عندنا إرادة حقيقية.
بالأمس كنت ذكيا، أردت أن أغير العالم. اليوم أنا حكيم، لذلك سأغير نفسي.
My dear children, and all of you who listen to me now, we fear the future because we are wasting today. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. ده الوقت اللي نقدر نحلم فيه ونفكر بحرية، اللي نقدر نجرب فيه ونغلط ونتعلم من غلطنا، الوقت اللي نقدر فيه نبص على الحياة ونشوف مشاكلها ونحلها. احنا جزء من المعادلة،
وعندنا طاقة وأفكار ممكن تخلينا بداية الحل.
The whole of science is nothing more than the refinement of everyday thinking. All it takes is some imagination, some courage, some innovation, and adventure. Don't fear mistakes, because if you never made any, then you have never tried anything new.
بذرة اليوم
ناس
شجرة
فترة تانية
مثمرة في المستقبل، فما تبدأه اليوم
الصلاة ما
ترى
يجيش.
طرح ثماره في الغد.